Who deceive me? Muddy ends break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less.
Hello, my true crime fans. My name is Holly, and welcome to the Murder She Shed. This is the place I discuss true crime to you, yes, you, right from my she shed. I try to find a unique case to bring into your place. Will you show me some grace and smash subscribe so you don't leave without a trace? Now that I'm done with my horrible rhymes, let's get on to our stories of true crime. You guys may have been hearing that the I-65 killer got caught. And I was like, the I-65 killer? Who would? I don't remember the I-65 killer. I don't know if you guys did. I know a lot of serial killers, but for some reason I don't remember this guy. So I decided to research his crimes and research, about him. And I'm bringing that to you since I went ahead and researched it. Also, his wife's still alive, and she had a few things to say. So we're going to discuss that right here, today, now. I'm going to leave a little warning here because there is some assaults in this video. So if you don't think you can handle this, if it's a trigger for you, then just click on off and go watch another video on my channel, Murder She Shed. The I-65 killer's first known victim was in February of '87 and was 41-year-old divorcee Vicki Heath. She had 2 children, but they were grown and had already moved out when she met her fiancé. And they decided to get a fresh start and they moved to Kentucky. I don't really know a lot about Kentucky, but I know one thing. I think I know one thing. Don't they have a grass named after Kentucky? Must have pretty grass. They're going to name a grass after y'all. At least I think they do. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject. She decided to get a second job to help out with the financial burden that the move had caused. So she took a job at Super 8 as a night auditor. She liked to read and figured it would be a great chance to read on a night shift. She liked to read romance novels, which reminds me of my husband's grandma who loved them harlequins. If you guys, some of y'all may not have heard of harlequins, or may be too young, but they were romance novels that were pretty spicy, let's just say that. And Grandma just loved to read them. Wow, Grandma. Yeah, they're just like porn, but there's no pictures. It's more like just reading, and it's just really descriptive in nature, what the characters are doing, let's say. And yeah, I know that because I might have taken a few peeks. I'm not going to lie about that. Just a few peeks. Oh, let's keep going. My ADD's kicking in full time today. So on February 20th, '87, she was working her usual night shift. It was a long, cold, and snowy night. And when the guests got up and headed to the lobby that morning, there was no one in the lobby. And it was in total disarray. Furniture was overturned. Items were scattered all over the floor. And the payphone, you guys remember the payphones? Had been ripped from the wall. They were worried someone was in danger, so they went ahead and called authorities. When authorities got there, they would find Vicki's body laying in the back of the hotel behind the dumpsters, with the once white snow now red. Vicki still had on her sweater and plaid skirt, but it was ripped and tangled and pulled up. Officers would later learn that she had been viciously sodomized and then shot in the head with a .38 caliber. They were able to recover the DNA, and also the killer's footprints were in the snow. Unfortunately, at the time, DNA technology was in its early stages of discovery, and so the evidence was just saved for pretty much now. His second known victim was 24-year-old Mary Margaret Gill, but friends and family called her Peggy. Peggy lived with her parents, had decided to take a job at Days Inn in order to pay her way through college. Peggy was known to be shy and preferred the night shift just because it was less hectic. On March 2nd, 1989, before Peggy left for work, she wished her dad an early happy birthday since it was close to midnight. Unfortunately, her dad's 51st birthday would be the worst day of his entire life. A college student entered the hotel in order to check in and found no one in the lobby. He waited a few minutes and then went to a nearby hotel to check in. This is how they were able to pretty much pinpoint the time when the murder happened. But unfortunately for him, that made him a suspect. Yeah, that sucked. The night shift was supposed to call the GM at 5 every morning, and that morning, Peggy never called the GM. So the GM attempted to call the hotel. No one answered, and so she became worried and then contacted authorities. The police noticed the cash register door had been pried open. So yeah, that's fishy. Then later they would find the most disturbing scene in a vacant area of the hotel. Peggy's body would be found down at the far end of the hallway. She was found nude with her clothes neatly folded beside her body. Isn't that weird? Peggy was raped as well. There did not seem to be a struggle. Authorities believed that could be due to her shy, timid side. But I'm thinking a 22 pointed to your head would be pretty convincing. On the same night that Peggy was murdered, another woman was murdered that same very night. This guy was busy. But it was just at a different Days Inn. The killer drove 45 miles south on I-65 in order to do a repeat murder. 24-year-old Jean Marie Gilbert wasn't even supposed to be working that night. She decided to switch a shift with one of her coworkers to go to her daughter's cheerleading event she was having the next day. Jean, who was a single mother, worked 2 jobs and attended college. So she was a busy lady. She would often work on her homework while she's working this night shift. Just like the other times, guests got up and went to the lobby to check out, but no one was there. So the exact same time authorities were finding Peggy's body, they were finding Jean's as well. After officers got to the Days Inn, they were trying to get a key from the GM because they learned that the hotel registration office was locked. So they're trying to get into that. While attempting to unlock this door, a call was made from a school bus driver who found a nude female body laying at the side of a county road, roughly 20 miles away from the Days Inn. The body was indeed Jean, and she had been raped, murdered, and dumped at the side of the road. In the hotel office, $247 was missing out of the register. So sad. Her Days Inn outfit was nowhere to be seen. Authorities thought it was taken as a trophy. She had been shot 3 times with the same weapon that had been used on Peggy. Both Peggy and Jean had DNA on them. Killer went silent until January of 1990 when a 21-year-old woman was working her usual night shift. Guess what? A Days Inn. This one was located in Indiana. The woman who survived the attack would be able to give a description of her attacker. She said he was chatty when he came into the hotel, almost charming. He asked her if she had any change for the cigarette machine. Don't know if y'all know what that is, but you put money in it to pull this little knob, and cigarettes just fell to the bottom, kind of like a vending food machine. They just fell down, and I always got cigarettes from my dad when I was little. That was my job. And he also asked where a nearby restaurant was. He then left, came back about 20 minutes later, carrying a cup of hot coffee. When he got close enough, he threw the hot coffee at her face. While she was regaining her senses, he jumped over the counter and held up a knife and began robbing the register. This is when he directed her to the back area of the motel, to the stairway, and sexually assaulted her. She would say his eyes were so green they appeared to be yellow. This is a drawing of the description she gave. Yeah, it's bad. It looks like about 50 white men. I know. Yeah, bad. Then he told her to get outside and directed her into a wooded area behind the motel. He told her to keep walking and don't look back. She did exactly that. She was too scared to look back. She's scared she'd get stabbed or shot. So she just followed the creek to a trailer home, and the resident there let her in. And lucky for her, he did not follow her, which I find really strange. Why he just let her go when he murdered the others, I am not sure. It is thought this man had other victims, and could his first wife been one of them? She burned up in a house when they were not long into their marriage. Now, finally, 30 years later, we know the name of the I-65 killer, or the Days Inn killer, and his name is Harry Edward Greenwell. Unfortunately, he died of cancer in 2013 and will never have to pay for his crimes. Through genealogy, they were able to compare his DNA to his son's, and the match was 99.999% a match. That's big. He had a history of arrests, but they involved robberies and drug possession. Although in 1965 he was arrested for sodomizing a woman. Julie Jenkins, who is now 73 and was Greenwell's wife for 20 years, was totally blindsided when she learned her husband had been the I-65 serial killer. She said it makes her not trust her judgment because she had no idea he could have done these things. Wouldn't trust mine either after that. She said he was kind, he was caring, he did have a temper, but she said that's not unusual. She also said, I don't know what to think about much of it, other than I feel horrible for the families that dealt with that for so many years. They lived in a 3-bedroom farmhouse outside an Iowa town of about 300 people, and the home looked out onto a state highway. Weird, huh? His wife died in a house fire, like I said, before Miss Jenkins met him at a Minnesota bar. I was very suspicious at first, she said, coming from an abusive relationship, but he assured me that the death of his wife was not the case. And she said, of course I still believe him, and I guess I still do. He was working at a railroad, I think it was over in Wisconsin, when it happened. She was in Wisconsin too, but she was on the other side of the state from him, from what I remember. I do believe it was accidental or negligence on her part. Could this be true that the fire was an accident? Unfortunately, we'll probably never know, because I imagine all the DNA and everything burned up in that fire. But I don't think I would trust that this serial killer told me he was on the other side of the state when this happened. I wouldn't go by his word, because obviously, if you don't care to murder, he's not going to care to lie. They are still trying to tie him to other murders in the Kentucky and Indiana area, especially ones that occurred in the Days Inn. Greenwell worked for the Canadian Pacific Railroad, providing public safety, for 30 years. He retired in 2010. His wife, Miss Jenkins, also said he was very supportive through a battle from breast cancer. She said when he was in the hospice dying from lung cancer, he asked for a priest to come so that he could confess his sins. But she did not know what he had told the priest. Oh, wow, I can imagine. Catholic priests are forbidden from sharing anything told to them during the sacrament of confession. Could be a priest somewhere saying, well, that one's finally out of the bag, but he will never admit to it, though. According to Miss Jenkins, Harry enjoyed organic gardening, selling his organic produce at the local farmer market, traveling, reading, wordsmithing, and avid college sports fan. He's not a fan. Sounds like an ordinary guy, doesn't he? His obituary gave no inkling of his alleged sinister past. It described him as a family man, a farmer, a do-gooder, and a generous soul. Sounded good. And he's not. He's far from that. He had many friends who loved his straight-up attitude and his willingness to help anyone. Miss Jenkins added, "It's terrifying, and my children feel the same way. I mean, I left them alone with him while I was at work. I live with my son and his family, and I have a grandchild who Harry thought was pretty special. They had a connection." She said this 17-year-old granddaughter is pretty devastated about it. Can you imagine finding out that your granddad, who you had this bond with, was a serial killer? And he killed women not much older than you. That would be pretty mind-blowing, really. Really weird. She also said, "I just want the families of the victims to know how sorry I am for what they've gone through. If there had been anything I would have known to alter the situation before this, I certainly would have done it. I don't know that they'd want to reach out to me for anything. I certainly would not be averse to that happening." And of the avid, kind gardener she thought she'd married, she says, "I guess you think you know somebody. I thought I knew him, but apparently I didn't know him very well." Wow. It's so hard to imagine that a man that seems so ordinary could be such an evil person, and to keep it so well hidden that not even the closest people around him knew what a truly evil monster he was. It boggles the mind and makes you wonder if you can truly see the evil in someone's soul. Can you imagine being married to someone for 20 years and not having any idea who this person really was? Definitely food for thought. Definitely. Well, guys, I wanted to let y'all know before I say bye. I've gotten a new camera that I have been recording with, and I'm still working on the audio. I'm having so much trouble with my mic and getting it fixed. I'm not very tech savvy, and that's why I'm late on this Suspense She Shed Sunday. I thank y'all for being patient. I hope this video turns out better. Just wanted you guys to know that I am working on it, and I hope to get all the kinks out soon for y'all. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe before you go. That'd be great. Help a Southern girl out. Love you guys, and I hope you stay safe and watch out for those monsters, although obviously you can't tell. Some people are monsters, apparently. She had no clue. Watch your back. That's all I can say. All right. Love y'all, and have a great week. Bye.
Free me, looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession.